The Grand Royale Hotel in Los Angeles was a playground for the wealthier, place where the richest of the rich dined, socialized, and flaunted their fortunes. It was an evening of luxury. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and Rolls-Royces lined up at the entrance, as valets rushed to park the vehicles of the elite. Among the uniformed valets was Daniel Carter, a young man in his late 20s, dressed in the standard red and black uniform of the Grand Royale's valet service. He worked with efficiency, his hands steady as he maneuvered each luxury car into its designated spot. However, there was something different about him. Unlike the other valets, who admired the cars with longing gazes, Daniel handled them with an unusual familiarity, as if he had driven them all before. One evening, a striking red Bugatti Chiron pulled up. The driver, a sharply dressed man in his mid-40s, stepped out, twirling his keys around his fingers before carelessly tossing them at Daniel. "Park it somewhere safe, kid," he said dismissively, barely sparing him a glance. Daniel caught the keys effortlessly, his expression unreadable. "Of course, sir," he replied, his voice even and polite. Before he could drive off, the man smirked. "Try not to scratch it. That car's worth more than your entire life." Several guests laughed at the cruel remark. The other valets exchanged uneasy glances, but Daniel merely nodded, offering a small smile. "I'll be careful," he assured before smoothly driving away. Inside the hotel, the night progressed as usual. The wealthy guests sipped expensive champagne, discussing stock markets, business deals, and lavish vacations. Daniel continued working, expertly parking vehicles and returning keys with polite efficiency. The man with the Bugatti, identified as Richard Langford, a well-known investor, continued, entertaining his friends, basking in the attention. Half an hour later, a sudden shift in the atmosphere occurred. The manager of the hotel, a tall and well-groomed man named Mr. Hayes, entered the lobby with a panicked look. He whispered something to the staff, who immediately straightened up. Moments later, several suited individuals walked in, their demeanor exuding importance. Gasps echoed through the lobby, as people recognized the most prominent figure among them, Alexander Carter, the billionaire CEO of Carter Automotive Group, a company that had recently acquired multiple luxury car brands, including the very company that manufactured the Bugatti parked outside. What shocked the guests even more was when Daniel, still clad in his valet uniform, casually stepped forward and greeted Alexander Carter with a warm handshake. "Good to see you, Uncle," Daniel said, his voice carrying an air of confidence. "Daniel, my boy," Alexander replied with a proud smile. "I hope everything has been going well." Murmurs spread across the room. People exchanged stunned looks. "Uncle," they whispered, "who is he?" Daniel turned toward the crowd and unbuttoned his valet jacket, revealing a tailored suit underneath. With a calm expression, he addressed the guests. "My name is Daniel Carter," he announced. "I am the owner of Carter Automotive Group." Silence engulfed the room. Richard Langford's face paled as realization dawned upon him. Daniel continued, his voice unwavering. "I've spent the last year working here in disguise to observe firsthand how customers and employees interact. I wanted to see how people treated others based on nothing but appearance. And tonight," he turned to Langford, "I was reminded why it's so important to stay humble." Langford swallowed hard. Mr. Carter," Daniel raised a hand, stopping him. "No need to explain. I don't hold grudges. But I do believe that respect should be given to everyone, regardless of their position." The guests who had laughed earlier now looked down, ashamed. The lesson was clear. Alexander Carter placed a hand on his nephew's shoulder, his eyes gleaming with pride. "You've done well, Daniel. Your father would be proud." That night, Daniel walked out of the Grand Royale, not as a valet, but as a man who had just taught an unforgettable lesson about humility and respect. And Richard Langford. He never underestimated anyone again. If you made it this far, comment respect always down below, and don't forget to subscribe for more inspiring stories.